The graph of polynomial function, part 1. To enjoy fully this video lesson, you have to understand and practice the activities involving polynomial functions. Polynomial function. The polynomial function can be written in any order, but to make it in standard form, we must arrange the exponent in decreasing order. Other than p of x, a polynomial function may be denoted by f of x. Polynomials may be written in factored form. For example, given y is equals to x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus x squared plus 14x minus 56. When written in factored form, so marunong na kayong mag-factor ng polynomial sa previous lesson natin. Tinuruan ko kayo how to factor higher degree polynomial. So, in factored form, this is written as y is equals to x squared plus 7 times x minus 2 times x plus 4. Another example, we have y is equals to x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus 13x squared minus 10x. So, if you want to write this polynomial in factored form, it is written as y is equals to x times x minus 5 times x plus 1 times x plus 2. Kahit naka-factored form yan, makikita pa rin natin yung degree ng polynomial. Halimbawa, sa example number 1, kung tatlo yung factors nung polynomial, so yan yung nagsasabi ng kung ilang degree. So dito naman, sa number 1, yung x squared plus 7, ang degree niya ay 2. I-plus mo siya sa x minus 2 na ang degree ay 1, tsaka sa x plus 4 na ang degree ay 1. So therefore, there are 4 factors. So ibig sabihin, the polynomial is of the 4th degree. Kung yan naman ay nakaayos sa standard form, kitang-kita kaagad natin na ang highest exponent ay 4. So, kung ano yung highest exponent, yun ang nagsasabi kung ano yung degree ng polynomial. So, ganun din sa example number 2. 4 ang factors. Ang factors niya ay x. Factors din niya yung x minus 5, x plus 1, and x plus 2. So, ibig sabihin, this is of the 4th degree. Next example. F of x is equals to x cubed plus x squared plus 18. So, the factors are f of x is equals to x squared minus 2x plus 6 plus 3. So, nung hindi pa natin siya na factor, the highest exponent is 3. So, obviously, this is of the 3rd degree. So, nung finactor natin, yung unang factor na x squared minus 2x plus 6, it is of the 2nd degree. So, i-add natin dun sa degree ng x plus 3 na 1. So, there are 3 factors. So, this is of the 3rd degree. So, eto pa. Yung pwede siyang isulat na f of x or piece of x. Example number 4. F of x is equals to 2x cubed plus 5x squared plus 7x minus 5. So, ang factor niya ay f of x is equals to x squared plus 3x plus 5 times 2x minus 1. So, ito yung sinasabi ko na polynomials can also be written in factored form. In order to write a polynomial in standard form, always look at the degree of each term, then write each term in order of degree from highest to lowest. O, ayusin natin yung exponent niya in decreasing order. Types of polynomial functions. There are various types of polynomial functions based on the degree of the polynomial. So when you watch this video, make sure that you are taking down your notes. Okay, first type, we have the zero polynomial function. Example, piece of x is equals to 8. So, nasaan yung variable niya? Kaya siya tinawag na zero polynomial function kasi ang exponent ng kanyang x ay 0. We all know that any number raised to the 0 power is equals to 1. Kaya yung x to the 0 magiging 1, then when you multiply it to 8, it is equals to 8. Kaya pag constant number lang ang nakikita nyo, walang kasamang variable, it is understood that the exponent of the variable is 0. Another type of polynomial function, the linear polynomial function. Example, piece of x is equals to 3x plus 5. So, dito sa polynomial na ito, ang pinakamataas na exponent ay 1. 1 lang yung exponent ng x. So, this is called a linear polynomial function. Then, we have the quadratic polynomial function. So, the highest exponent is 2. Then, the cubic polynomial function, kaya nga sinasabi natin x to the third power or x cubed. Kaya siya tinawag na cubic polynomial function because the highest exponent is 3 or because this polynomial is of the third degree. Then, the quartic polynomial function. So, obviously, this is of the fourth degree. So, pag fourth degree, tawag sa kanya ay quartic. Then, higher than fourth degree, halimbawa, naging fifth degree, sixth degree, ang tawag dyan, they are the polynomial of the nth degree. Halimbawa, piece of x is equals to 9x to the 5th minus 5x to the 4th plus x cubed minus 7x squared plus 6x minus 4. Ang highest exponent niya ay 5. So, ang tawag dito ay polynomial of the 5th degree. Another example. So, if you notice, the highest exponent here is 7. So, ang tawag sa kanya ay polynomial of the 7th degree. Intercepts of the graph. So, before you learn how to draw the graph, we must understand first what are intercepts, multiplicity, and behavior and turning points of the graph. Example, what do we mean when we say x-intercept? They are the values of x in an ordered pair when y is equals to 0. So, kailangan nakaset sa 0 ang y, tapos yung values ng x, yun ang kanyang x-intercept. Example, f of x is equals to x plus 1 times x minus 1 times x minus 5. So, if you notice, naka-arrange siya sa factored form. Ang f of x, pwede nating palitan ng y. So, y is equals to x plus 1 times x minus 1 times x minus 5. To find the x-intercept, set y is equals to 0. So, papalitan natin ng 0 yung y. Kaya magiging x plus 1 is equals to 0. X minus 1 is equals to 0. X minus 5 is equals to 0. Therefore, the value of x here is negative 1. Dito, ang x niya ay positive 1. So, sa x minus 5, ang x niya ay 5. So, pag sinulat mo siya sa ordered pair, that is negative 1, 0. 1, 0. 5, 0. Yan yung ordered pair niya. Pag pinlat mo yan doon sa coordinate plane or doon sa Cartesian plane, makikita mo kung saan dadaan yung graph. Ibig sabihin ng x-intercept, yung graph dumadaan doon sa x-axis. Yan. This means that the graph will pass through the x-axis at negative 1, 0, 1, 0, and 5, 0. Uulitin ko, dapat nagno-notes kayo para pag nag-next slide, masundan nyo yung lesson. Okay. So, paano naman pag y-intercept? So, syempre, pag sinabi mong x-intercept, dumadaan sa x-axis. So, pag y-intercept, dadaanan niya ay y-axis. So, y-intercept, they are the values of y in an ordered pair when x is equals to 0. Kapag 0 naman yung kanyang x. So, example, gagamitin pa rin natin yung kaninang example natin, no? So, to find the value of y-intercept, yung x naman ang gagawin nating 0. So, palitan natin ng 0 lahat ng x. So, y is equals to 1, negative 1, negative 5. I-multiply mo siya, y is equals to 5. Ayan. So, sa ordered pair, una lagi yung value ng x. Ang value ng x natin nakaset sa 0. If x is 0, y is equals to 5. Ipa-plot mo yan sa graph mo. So, this means that the graph will pass through the y-axis at 0, 5. The graph of polynomial function. So, mag-testing muna tayong mag-graph ngayon para maintindihan nyo ibig sabihin ng x-intercept at y-intercept. Gagamitin natin yung previous example natin. So, nakuha natin kanina na ang x-intercepts natin ay negative 1, 1, and 5. Ayan. For example, this is your graphing paper. Siyempre, yan yung y-axis at ito yung x-axis. So, pag nilocate mo ang negative 1, yan. Then, you locate positive 1. Sa x-axis mo lang siya hahanapin. Yan. Locate mo yung positive 5. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga points na yan, sa x-axis, yan yung dadaanan ng graph. Y-intercept. Ang y-intercept natin ay 5. Kaya, hahanapin mo yung 5 sa y-axis. Ilolocate mo. Ayon. Next. I-multiply mo yung x plus 1, x minus 1 times x minus 5. Gamitan nyo ng lattice method. So, kung naalala nyo, tinuruan ko na rin kayo yung shortcut method ng multiplying polynomial. So, pag multiply mo yan, you will get x cubed minus 5x squared minus x plus 5. When the degree is an odd number, so, ano ba yung degree ng polynomial natin? It is of the third degree. And we know that 3 is an odd number. And the leading coefficient, ano ba ang leading coefficient niya? Positive ba o negative? Okay. When the degree is an odd number and the leading coefficient is positive, the graph falls to the left and rises to the right. Tingnan natin. Ayon. Falls to the left. Asan ba yung left mo? Then rises to the right. Ang tawag dyan ay end behavior of the graph. Yan yung pag-aaralan natin. Aalamin muna natin ano ibig sabihin ng end behavior, bakit natin kinukuha yung x and y intercept. So, nakuha natin, alam natin ngayon na kaya natin kinukuha yung x and y intercept para malaman natin kung saan banda sa x-axis at sa y-axis dadaan yung graph. So, yung behavior ng graph, pag-aaralan natin if it falls to the left and rises to the right. Pag-aaralan din natin yung turning point. Pero madali lang ang turning point. The turning point of the graph is the number of degree minus 1. Halimbawa, dito sa example natin, this is of the third degree. So, 3 minus 1, 2. So, tingnan nyo, ilang beses nag-turn yung graph? Dalawa lang. So, kung ano yung degree niya, minus 1 lang, yun yung number ng kanyang turning point. Multiplicity of roots. Remember, the multiplicity of a root is the number of times a root is an answer. The easiest way to determine the multiplicity of a root is to look at the exponent on the corresponding factor. If the multiplicity is an odd number, the graph will cross the x-axis. Now, if the multiplicity is an even number, the graph will be tangent to the x-axis. It will not cross, it will just touch the x-axis. So, for example, list the roots of y is equals to 3 times x plus 5 to the third power times x plus 2 to the fourth power times x minus 1 to the second power times x minus 5, and also indicate its multiplicity. So, pag kinukuha mo yung roots ng polynomial, para mo na rin kinuha yung x-intercepts niya. So, set y is equals to 0. Remember that the real roots of a polynomial functions corresponds to the x-intercepts of the graph of that polynomial. Kaya iset natin yung y sa 0. We have x plus 5 to the third power equals 0, x plus 2 to the fourth power equals 0, x minus 1 to the second power is equals to 0, and x minus 5 is equals to 0. So, ibig sabihin yan, yung mga values ng x niya, yun yung kanyang x-intercepts. Yun din yung kanyang roots. So, we have x is equals to negative 5. Pero ilang beses lalabas ang negative 5? It has a multiplicity of 3. So, x is equals to negative 2. Ilan ang multiplicity niya? It has a multiplicity of 4. Then x is equals to 1. It has a multiplicity of 2. Then x minus 5 equals 0. X is equals to 5. It has a multiplicity of 1. So, to further understand what is the meaning of multiplicity at bakit natin kinukuha ang multiplicity, I will show you the graph. So, ito yung graph niya. So, kunin natin yung data natin kanina. If x is equals to negative 5, okay, ito muna. Ito yung kanyang y-axis. This is the x-axis. Now, if x is negative 5, hanapin natin sa x-axis ang negative 5. Ayun. So, it has a multiplicity of 3. Ano yung sabi ko kanina? If the multiplicity is an odd number, the graph will cross the x-axis. Itong red line na ito, yan yung kanyang graph. Now, 3 is an odd number. So, ibig sabihin, yung graph, lalagpas yan, dadaanan niya yung x-axis kasi ang multiplicity niya ay odd number. So, if x is equals to negative 2, so, asan yung negative 2 yan? Now, ang sabi dito, if the multiplicity is an even number, the graph is tangent to the x-axis. Ibig sabihin, tangent lang siya. It just touches the x-axis but it will not cross the x-axis. So, ayun, napansin nyo, hindi niya dinaanan yung x-axis, tangent lang siya sa x-axis. So, if x is equals to 1, ilan ang multiplicity? It has a multiplicity of 2. 2 is an even number. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya lalagpas sa x-axis. It will not cross the x-axis kasi even number yung multiplicity niya. So, tangent lang siya sa x-axis. So, yung isa, x is equals to 5. Ayun siya, oh. Ilan ang multiplicity niya? It has a multiplicity of 1. So, isa lang. 1 is an odd number. So, tingnan nyo, yung red line, lumagpas siya sa x-axis. So, yan ang ibig sabihin na if the multiplicity is an odd number, the graph will cross the x-axis. The end behavior and turning points of a graph. Remember that when the degree is an odd number and the leading coefficient is positive, the graph falls to the left and rises to the right. Example, let us sketch the graph of g sub x is equals to 3 times x plus 3 times x plus 1 times x minus 1. So, notice that the polynomial function is of the degree of 3, or this is in the third degree. Kasi pag inad mo yung degree ng x plus 3 na 1, x plus 1, ang degree nito ay 1, at ang x minus 1, ang degree niya ay 1. Pag inad mo yung mga degree niya, this is of the third degree. And if you try to multiply the factors here, you will find out that the polynomial, the highest exponent, is 3. The leading coefficient here is positive. 3 is an odd number. So, ang sabi dito, ang end behavior niya, kung ang degree ay odd number at ang kanyang leading coefficient ay positive, ang behavior ng graph, it will fall to the left and rises to the right. Yun ang kanyang end behavior. Tingnan natin, ito yung graph niya. So, it falls to the left and rises to the right. How about the maximum number of turning points? So, para malaman yung maximum number ng turning points, kung ilan yung degree niya, i-less mo lang yung 1. So, 3 minus 1, that is 2. So, there are only 2 number of turning points. Next. Determine the end behavior and find the maximum possible number of turning points. Given f of x is equals to negative x cubed plus 5x. What is the degree of the given polynomial? So the highest exponent is 3, so the degree is 3. And the leading coefficient is negative 1. So the degree is 3. The leading coefficient is negative. Ano kaya magiging itsura o ano ang magiging end behavior ng graph if the degree is an odd number and the leading coefficient is negative? So, lagi nyo titingnan lang yung degree at ang leading coefficient niya. So, ilan ang maximum number of turning points niya? So, dahil ang degree niya ay 3, so 3 minus 1, the maximum number of turning point is 2. Ito yung graph niya. So, ayan, dalawang beses lang nag-turn yung graph. So, there are only 2 turning points. Now, notice that if the degree is an odd number, and the leading coefficient is negative, the end behavior of the graph rises to the left and falls to the right. Example, determine the end behavior and find the maximum possible number of turning points. Y is equals to x squared times x plus 2 times x minus 2. Ilan ang degree niya? The degree is 4. And the leading coefficient is positive. How many number of turning points? So, if the degree is 4, 4 minus 1, the number of turning points is, tingnan natin dito sa graph niya. Ito yung graph niya. So, if you observe carefully, tingnan natin yung turning points niya. 1, 2, 3. So, the maximum number of turning point is 3. Notice the behavior of the graph. When the degree is an even number, even kasi yung 4, 4 is an even number. And notice that if the leading coefficient is positive, what will happen to the graph? The end behavior of the graph, it rises to the left and rises also to the right. Example, given negative x to the fourth plus 2x cubed plus 13x squared minus 14x minus 24. The degree is 4 and we know that 4 is an even number. And notice that the leading coefficient is negative 1. Now, degree is 4. The leading coefficient is a negative number. The maximum number of turning points. So, bilangin mo lang 4 minus 1, 3. Ayan. Laging less 1. Tingnan natin sa graph. Tama, no? 3 beses lang nag-turn yung graph. Now, when the degree is an even number and the leading coefficient is negative, what is the end behavior of the graph? The graph falls to the left and also falls to the right. Let us summarize the cases, the end behavior, and the sample graph. If the degree is an odd number and the leading coefficient is positive, the graph falls to the left and rises to the right. Ito yung graph niya. Now, if the degree is an odd number and the leading coefficient is negative, the graph rises to the left and falls to the right. Now, if the degree is an even number and the leading coefficient is positive, the graph rises to the left and rises to the right. And if the degree is an even number and the leading coefficient is negative, the graph falls to the left and falls to the right. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is Teacher Nati saying, let us thank God for all the blessings that He has given us.